piece of paper. Start around so people can see the most royalty. Alright. That all recorded?
Horrible, yeah.
Yeah, blown out. Well, third game was pretty close, but
Struggling a little bit.
yeah. You ready to go, bud?
Yep. We call him Nolan, or?
We'll call him after I do a little intro. Here, so. Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of BachelorForeLife Podcast. I am Alex Cunningham, your host, and joining me again for another week is Kyle Nordine. Kyle, thanks for joining me again.
Hey guys.
This is our first podcast where I'm going to put on my YouTube channel, so hopefully you guys can enjoy the video if you guys can't listen to it or whatnot. So we'll see how this goes. First off, I'm going to start off like I normally do. I'm going to talk about the Formula One racing. And Max Verstappen, he won the Pirelli Italian Grand Prix. So that's 5 races in a row. Kyle, do you watch Formula One racing?
I do not, but I did see a highlight that he won, so it did trigger my interest now.
Yeah, I'm not sure how hard it is to win races. It seems like every race, the top 5 racers are always the same for the most part, depending on what order they finish. But I mean, I think anytime you win 5 races in a row, that's quite an accomplishment. So he is the points leader. He has 335 points, and in second place is Charles Leclerc. He's got 219 points. So they have the week off, and then the weekend of September 23rd and 25th, they race in the VTB Russian Grand Prix. And if Max finishes pretty well in that, or if he wins that, I think he can clinch the world championship there. So that's what's happening in Formula One racing. This last Friday night, Roland Story played at home against Nevada. They ended up losing 49-26. They got off to a good start again. I think they scored a touchdown right away.
Yeah, Flatabo had a pick 6 to
right.
kind of help out early start, so led 13-7 at halftime.
Yeah, first half was very good defensively. I think Nevada kind of shot themselves in the foot by passing the ball more than they probably should have. And then in the second half, I think Nevada found their groove by just kind of running the ball. I'm not sure if our guys got tired or fatigued, but second half we missed a lot of tackles. Offensively, I thought it was okay. I mean, we started doing some screen passes, some passes towards the middle of the field that kind of opened stuff up. Just not a whole lot of time to pass the ball. There was one crucial play I think we were only down probably 8 or something, and it was a 4th and 4, and our boys had Nevada brought in their backup quarterback for whatever reason.
Was been a Wildcat. I think he might have been one of the other running backs.
Okay.
And yeah, he kind of got bottled up. And
Yeah, we had him stopped short of the first down. We had probably 3 or 4 guys had him wrapped up, and then I say, he kind of just squirms out of there, and then we missed another tackle, and then he ends up scoring a touchdown, and that kind of turned the momentum around. And then one other play I can think of is was a run or pass down our sideline, and then we had 2 or 3 guys that missed a tackle towards the sideline.
Yep, it was a long pass, and he just broke free, and then we couldn't catch up to him, and just kind of that last dagger to us that kind of made it Nevada's ball game. So
I think just watching from the sidelines, I noticed a lot of kids in street clothes. I know Jono Wilkinson's been dealing with a hamstring pull. It looked like Luke Patton might have hurt his hand at some point. So a lot of kids are a little banged up. We need to get healthy and get a lot of those guys back in the field. Back in the day, 2-way football was the thing. You play offense, you play defense. But I think just the way offenses are now, kids need breathers more. So it'd be nice to get some subs in maybe and to get a breather here and there and get those guys fresh for the fourth quarter. So anyways, this week is homecoming at Rolling Story, and Rolling Story plays Albia. They're 1-1, and Rolling Story's record's 1-2. Albia is kind of more of a running team also, so it'll be important to wrap up and be sure to tackle together as a team and
start district play. So this would be good to get that first win to build for the rest of the 5-game stretch within our district. So
yeah, that's a good point, Kyle. And your brother's team, Mike Nordine, he's the head coach for Red Oak down, obviously in Red Oak,
Southwestern Iowa.
Southwest, so it's about 3 hours away, but he's got his team rolling. They're 3-0 this year, so that's
3-0.
And to Mike.
I saw some people or parents that I see on Facebook say they're going for their first 4-0 start in 51 years. So
wow.
He's definitely got the program clicking right now. He, had a not to say easy early schedule, but they did what they needed to do. They outscoring 40 points a game and haven't given up a single touchdown or a point all year. So yeah, he's got a great group of kids that year 2 is really built off of, and yeah, he's been pretty excited to see also to get in district play and work towards the playoffs.
So Mike's got a good team down there at Red Oak. Hopefully he can keep that up, and best of luck to you tomorrow night, Mike. One thing I want to say real quick is since all my family lives down south, if my family's watching this, hi Mom, I love you, miss you. Anyways, I went to the Rolling Story volleyball game tonight. They played Nevada too, and the first match was pretty close. It was about 15-15, and I think Nevada scored the last 10 points to win 25-15. The second match, it was kind of like a 5-6 point lead for Nevada, and then we kind of closed the gap. But then Nevada ended up winning 25-21. And then the third match was definitely back and forth. Came down all the way to the end. I think Nevada ended up winning that 25-22. So unfortunately, the Rolling Story girls volleyball team did not win tonight, but they played hard. I mean, I don't know exactly what to look for as far as like mistakes and whatnot, but some serves didn't make it over the net, which obviously is a point for the other team. But I mean, by what I understand from volleyball, I mean, it looked like they played really hard, and I think just Nevada they had some really tall girls, and when you have tall girls, you can spike down on shorter girls.
Yeah, without watching, yeah.
They had some girl who could just whack the ball. I mean, it was crazy. I was like, so funny story. Me and Ty Fred and his wife Megan and his brother Travis, I think, and then some of Megan's friends back in college at Iowa State, we played in a intramural volleyball tournament, and the team we played, is I can say this because I'm Asian, but it was a group of Asian kids. So we were walking up. We didn't really know what to expect. We thought we would probably win, but you never know. So I think we got up like 6-0 right away. So we were like, oh yeah, we should win this match. And then they just turned it on and they destroyed us. It was embarrassing. We lost. I don't know, but we got destroyed all 3 games, I think. So yeah, that's just a funny story to never underestimate your opponent, I guess. Kind of like Notre Dame. Notre Dame lost this week to Marshall. They paid them $1.5 million to come to Notre Dame, and they ended up losing. And then also Texas A&M. They lost to Appalachian State. They paid them $1.2 million to come to Texas A&M and ended up losing. So yeah, just goes to show you, that's why the game's not played on paper, and every opponent you got to treat as as it is the Super Bowl game, I guess, or
exactly. Yep.
So that's kind of my run through for sports right now. We're gonna call our good friend Nolan Rasmussen. He messaged. You want to give him a call right now? He messaged Kyle and said that he wanted to come on the podcast. So I said, sure. I'm open for anyone coming on the podcast and talking. So we'll give him a call and see if he answers. And while Kyle's doing that, I want to go through the Major League Baseball standings. So baseball has about 3 weeks left. In the American League East Division, the Yankees are winning. The American Central, you have the Cleveland Guardians. The White Sox are 4 games back, and then in the West you have the Astros. They're 12.5 games up, and then the 3 wild card teams as of right now is the Toronto Blue Jays, the Seattle Mariners, and the Tampa Bay Rays. And the Baltimore Orioles are only 4 games back. The White Sox and Twins are 7 games back for the last wild card spot. So it'll be interesting, but it's looking like the American League East Division will have 3 teams: the Yankees, the Blue Jays, and the Rays in the playoffs. So then you go down to the National League. The Mets are winning the East Division. They're half a game up on the Braves. The St. Louis Cardinals are 8 games up on the Brewers. And then Dodgers are 20.5 games up on the Padres. So then the 3 teams that are looking to make the wild card, the Braves, the Phillies, and the Padres. And then the only team that has a chance to catch the last wild card spot would be the Brewers. And they are only 2 games back of the Padres. So tight races for the last playoff spot in each division. And for the division titles, the only close division would be the Mets. They only have a half game up on the Braves. It came out a couple of weeks ago that Major League Baseball is going to come and implement some new rules. Is that coming out in the next year, bud?
Yep, it'll start next year.
So one of the major rules that everyone's talking about is the shift. A lot of teams use the shift based on data and analytics. Like this guy pulls the ball about 90% of the time, so they'll have 3 infielders on the left side or the right side of the infield and only 1 to the left. Kyle, being a longtime baseball fan, what's your thought on the shift changes and the shift rule for this upcoming season then?
Yeah, no one's calling us back here, so
yeah. Okay.
Perfect timing for this. But yeah, definitely the shift.
Hey, what's up, bud?
What's going on, fellas?
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me good?
Yeah. You might want to just talk maybe a tad louder, but we just got into talking about the MLB shift. Kyle's talking about it right now, and then you can give your 2 cents after he gets done talking, okay?
Perfect. Sounds good.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, old-time baseball fans definitely haven't been a fan of these analytics and, moving guys all over the baseball diamond and stuff. But, I mean, part of me really, if the analytics show, in baseball, the batter just needs to get better, and learn how to hit the opposite way. All these left-handers that, I think were designed for this shift and put the third baseman or shortstop over and the second baseman, mid right field. I think it, is in football, are you just not going to tell defenses that they can't blitz or, just because the down distance and wild things like that. So, that's my feelings. I think it should stay. I don't think it slows down the game. They're trying to get it, your team's still trying to win. So, any way that it's going to stop the opponent from getting a base hit and all that is, should be allowed. And yeah, I don't think doing that's going to slow things up with all the coaching and stuff, getting ready, who you're going to move for, and not just slow down the game by all of a sudden with their 10-second walk out into their music. They're not going to be already over there ready to go. So speed up all this to speed up the game. I don't believe is that big of an issue with the shifts. So yeah, I guess let Nolan go with what he thinks.
What are your thoughts on the new rule change for next year, Nolan?
I really think that the shift is my biggest problem. You just need to be able to hit the ball somewhere else. If 4 guys are on the right side of the field, bunt it down the third baseline. So I guess the team's going to give you has the field open. You got to be able to put the ball over there. These guys are getting paid a bunch of money to be able to. They should be able to bunt. They should be able to bunt and get on that way. So I guess that's my biggest peeve with it is, it's not gonna speed up the game by any means, like Kyle's saying. I don't think. but it's just you should be able to hit the opposite way, or you should be able to put the ball in play somewhere where people aren't if you have half the field to hit the ball. So that's my thought on the whole shift.
Yeah, I don't understand how you're a professional baseball player and you can't just literally lay down. I mean, a lot of times that the guy by himself on the left or right side, he's like playing in the middle between second and third base. It's like, how are you not able just to lay down a bunt or Ichiro swing and just get there on base? It's like, I mean, I don't understand any of that. I mean, I know when we were kids, we learned how to bunt was like one of the very first things we learned how to do. One, it helps you focuses on making eye contact with the bat and the ball, you know. And then, so yeah, I mean, I don't really understand that. If teams want to play a certain defense, it's like basketball. I mean, you know, some teams play man, some teams play zone, some teams play a 1-3-1 zone. So it's like, whatever teams want to do, they should be allowed to do. I know they're trying to get back to the traditional where the rule is now you got to have two people on both sides of second base, and then they both have to be in the dirt somewhere. So, yeah, I just think it's stupid. Teams should be allowed to do whatever they want to do. I think we're all three on the same page there. I know I always refer back to movies, and the movie Major League Back to the Minors, you know, their star player, he was always a pull hitter, and then his manager said, you know, when you get to the majors, you know, you're not going to be able to do that when you get to the majors. You got to learn how to hit to the opposite field. So that's kind of what brings up to my mind is, you know, batters have to learn how to hit, adjust to the defense, and just like anything else, you just have to adjust to the defense. You know, that goes for any sport, I think. So yeah, good points there, guys. The other rule change for this coming up baseball next year is the clock on the pitchers. Is that correct?
Yep.
So,
Yep.
Do you guys know what the clock is on that?
So it's 15 seconds with nobody on base, and I think 20. Yeah, 15 when nobody's on base, and 20 when there's somebody on base. And I think they've done it in the last year or two on the minor league level, and I think the stats said it shortened the game by like 15 minutes. Or 20 minutes is all. So not as a fan that's really gonna make or break me going to a game, sitting there for an extra 20 minutes. But
yeah, what do you? I mean, do you think that'll help the game speed up, Nolan, at all, or not?
I think in the long run, probably. I mean, 15 minutes is 15 minutes. But I really don't. I don't see the need for it, in my opinion. I don't think that's the 15 minutes that it's going to save isn't going to deter me from watching the game or not watching the game. So that I don't think it's a huge deal to me at all. So it's there. I'm fine with it, but I don't think it's needed by any means.
Yeah, I think it's just Major League's kind of going past their boundaries on their power control right now, implementing these new rules for next year. But it'll be interesting to see. I'm sure there'll be stats, you know, third of the way through the season on how quickly games are getting done compared to this year. So we'll have to check that. This past weekend was the Cy-Hawk football game. Obviously, Iowa State ended up winning 10-7 over Iowa. It's Iowa State's first win in 6 years. Matt Campbell's first win against the Hawkeyes. I'll start with you, Kyle. What were your thoughts on the game? And yeah, just kind of talk about your thoughts on the football game.
yeah, it was an ugly game, both sides. I put down a few notes, just some bad turnovers, some lackluster quarterback play on both sides. The huge special teams mistakes that Iowa State continues to do. I don't know what it is year in, year out. This game, handful of games through the year, it just seems to be a big area that they've not improving on, especially on Campbell's teams. And then the O-line and Jarrell Borak really taking over on that 99-yard drive was probably the biggest thing besides Decker's making some huge throws to Xavier Hutchinson. But yeah, Iowa State, probably, stats-wise was the better team again. Iowa had a lot of talk about their offensive struggles against South Dakota State, and without turning the ball over, I don't think Iowa really moved the ball at all. So I mean, defensively, a lot of guys for Iowa State stepped up and continued to make it difficult for Iowa as an offense. Offensively, Iowa State stuck to their game plan. There was a few times I felt like Deckers tried to do too much and maybe was kind of locked in on Hutchinson. I feel we need to work on getting the second option, third option in that receiving game if it's opening the tight ends like we kind of talked about last week, and looking for other options. Not that Xavier hasn't shown that he's one of the premier receivers in the Big 12 and working his way as one of the best ones in the country. So, but yeah, to make that stop at the goal line, cause that turnover, and then make that special 99-yard drive. I think the O-line really stepped up all game. Jarrell Brock really put his foot down and got that hole and tried to make just going forward the goal, and made some big plays and just be able to stop it at the end. Maybe the refs had a little bit of say either way. If that was a fumble at the goal line, the views were undecided, and then maybe Iowa getting that call at the end for unsportsmanlike was I thought going to come back and get us and make that kick and see what overtime happened. But all in all, Iowa State fans got to be happy to come out of there with a win, no matter how ugly it is. So excited for 2-0 and moving on to Ohio.
Nolan, what did you take from that football game between Iowa and Iowa State?
I guess what I took from it was like kind of what Kyle said, QB play. I mean, especially for Iowa, when you can't move they couldn't move the ball running or throwing. But when there's no deep threat whatsoever, I mean, you're not opening yourself up for any success whatsoever by not having that threat at all. So and also what Kyle said, I mean, a win's a win. Iowa State's got to be happy that they got that W. I know Iowa would have been happy if they would have gotten it. It would have, no matter who won, it was an ugly one, but you got to be happy pulling a W out of the Iowa State game. So just very poor offensively for Iowa, and also what Kyle said, I don't think they would have gotten into the end zone if their special teams hadn't made that big play in the first quarter. So Iowa State definitely took one from Iowa this year, but a win's a win, so gotta give it to them.
Yeah, I think I said it last week. Iowa State just had more speed on the field. You could tell, offensively and defensively that Iowa was just slower. I mean, like you said, Nolan, Iowa didn't have a deep threat. So if I was Iowa State's defensive backs, I didn't have to worry about getting beat deep at all. Iowa's quarterback, Spencer Petras, 2 weeks in the season, okay, I think it's time for him to get benched. I mean, I'm just being realistic. I've gotten on Kirk Ferentz and I gotten off Kirk Ferentz, but now I think I'm to the point where he needs to go. I mean, it's just not working out. You look back, the last time Iowa had like a dual threat quarterback was Brad Banks back in like 2002. He got second in the Heisman. We would have went to the national title game if it wasn't for Iowa State's miraculous comeback in the second half. I just don't see how Iowa can't recruit a quarterback like that again. I don't know if that's not what they're looking for or what, but I mean, you look at that team, and then even, I'm not saying he's got to be a dual threat, but I mean, even Drew Tate knew how to move in the pocket and buy some time. And I mean, when you got a D1 quarterback and he's missing a crossing route, a 5-yard crossing route, or even a 5-yard out, and he's not even close to hitting the receiver, then it's definitely time to look for something else. I was very disappointed. I mean, I was happy because I wagered quite a bit on Iowa State plus 3.5, so I was pretty happy about that. I was cheering for the Cyclones. I'd rather win money than watch my team win. It was just a sloppy game, and I don't understand Iowa State's special teams. I don't understand teams that have that punt formation where there's 3 guys in front of the punter. I feel like you're just going to get in the punter's way, and that's kind of what happened with Iowa. The guy just bull rushed the guy and got his arm on twice.
They just stand there and they wait for the contact to come to them instead of going to the contact, which, that Nice guy was able to get into the guys way too high. And, I mean, I just don't understand. And it's not just Iowa State. So many teams do this. And I feel like I see more punts blocked now than, the old formations where you stop them on the line. And if one guy gets through, he's got to come from the edge and, make a diving stop. So, yeah, these formations and punt block schemes just don't add up to me.
I mean, it was just a sloppy game by both teams, to be honest. I mean, Iowa State had 3 turnovers, 1 at the goal line. Iowa had 3 turnovers, 1 at the goal line. Like I said, it came down to Iowa State had Xavier Hutchinson. Iowa didn't have a player on the field close to him. Even Jarrell Brock looked a lot better than, any running backs that Iowa put out there, whether it was Gavin Williams or I can't think of number 4's name. But, yeah, it was just a sloppy game overall, and the bet of the year was the under there, guys. It was 39.5 and total of 17 points. So we missed that one on the betting sites. But that was a lock. That was the lock of the year. So I don't know. Obviously it wasn't looking so good when Iowa blocked the punt to begin with and scored a touchdown right away. But then it was just ugly football after that. And what do you guys think about Matt Campbell's press conference with the 6th grade softball girl speech? I don't know. He annoys me, but you guys go ahead with your guys' head coach.
Yeah, I mean, I doubt he could have brought that up in the middle of the game. He likes to bring some comedy into these situations and, make it lighthearted in the locker room, take him away from a little bit, but, it's cool to hear the Roland story, name in a press conference at a major football, even in, maybe didn't work out for those 6th grade girls that day, but it's maybe been taken to the next step on some of the players wearing these shirts and all the publicity, but it is cool to, for situations like that and, try to take away from, maybe how much of a big pressure game that is and just kind of remember, guys, it's just a game, so.
Nolan, what else did you see from week 2 of college football? Anything that stood out to you from the college side of football?
The thing that I wrote down that I mostly saw from the weekend, and it kind of goes for both college and NFL, was holy cow for missed field goals.
Yeah, I was talking to Tyler earlier today, and I told him, I don't know if I've ever seen so many missed field goals in week 1 of the NFL, and then also in college. But yeah, go ahead and finish your thought there.
Everything was missed. There was some good football on. I didn't get to watch a ton of it this last week because I was working, but I'm glad that football's back, and I'm glad that for this next week there should be some good games on, and I'm ready for it. So
any teams that stood out that impressed you, or any teams that disappointed you from college or the NFL ranks?
The BYU game, that one really disappointed me. But also in the NFL, gosh, what game was it that I was really disappointed by? Dallas is going to lay an egg again this year, I believe. The Titans, oh God, that was a rough one for me. I was not betting against my Steelers this week, but they definitely they came through for me, but not on the betting side of it at least. So there was some upsets this week, and but that's why they play the games. So and that's why everybody bets on them too. So that's why Vegas is still alive.
Kyle, do you have any? What did you see from the second week of college football?
I mean, the big issues, the big game of the week, Texas and Bama. Is Texas back? Their quarterback gets hurt. Bama had a lot of penalties. Maybe a few helpful calls, like they say Bama gets. I thought that game back and forth there in the fourth quarter, really showed a lot. Again, from Young as the quarterback, for Bama, he took them down and got what they needed. So he definitely has that it factor. If he doesn't play good for 3 quarters, he gets some, it gets it done at the end, just like Auburn last year. And the other part of college football is, it's too early to talk, but who's really making that step to? Georgia's kind of showing they're kind of the top dog still, and just it is too early to talk, but that's all. They're already wondering projections and everything like that. So just kind of looking this week to see who kind of jumps up with Georgia to make the 4-team race.
Yeah, what I saw over the weekend for college football was a couple things. Obviously, you have the upsets of the smaller schools beating the big schools. You have Marshall beating Notre Dame, Appalachian State beating Texas A&M. You had Georgia Southern beating Nebraska. That ended up getting Jack Frost. I'm just kidding. It's not Jack Frost. He's the snowman.
If you would have put all those 3 teams and bet $100, you would have won $116,000 if you did a 3-team parlay. That's.
So I think college football is kind of becoming a lot like college basketball, where the talent level is getting pretty spread out. Obviously you're going to have your dominant teams in college football, but it's getting closer to where the smaller schools can put up a fight against the big name schools like a Notre Dame, like a Texas A&M. So I saw that, and then also I saw a lot of, and I don't know, it's hard because I'm just was a middle school coach, but I saw a lot of bad coaching decisions. Texas Tech and Houston were playing, and Houston was sub 7 in overtime, and Texas Tech had a 4th and 20. It should be game over. How do you give up 20 yards for a first down in overtime to, I don't understand how you don't have 4 guys like 10 yards in front of the first down marker and then like 2 guys at the first down marker. There's no way that guy should have gotten a first down. And then just, I was watching the Fresno State and Oregon State game, and Fresno State scored a touchdown. They were up 3 with like a minute to go. How do you let a team? I don't understand how college teams let teams drive the length of the field in a minute to score a winning touchdown. So I feel like the coaching is just. If I was a head coach, I would want to know everything that's going on, every play. Like, okay, what's the offensive play call here? What's the defense play call here? I know you have offense and defense coordinators, but as a head coach, I feel like it's your responsibility to know what's going on every play. So that's kind of just my take of college football week 2. I think we'll head into I'm going to call this a new segment. It's going to be called Take It to the Bank. And this is where we're going to give our picks to bet on if you want to listen to us. Just for everyone that's listening, we are not professional bettors. If we were, we wouldn't be doing this. 2, if you do bet, gamble responsibly. Know how much you can lose, and not have to worry about leaving the house or leaving my apartment or whatnot. So it's just something fun we like to do. So we'll start with college football. And Nolan, I'll let you go first. Do you have any 3-team, 2-team parlays? And then if you had to do an upset pick in college football this weekend, what would it be? Before you start, though, for those that are listening, I want to explain what a parlay is. I should probably do that. So a parlay is whenever you take 2 or more items to bet on, you have to win all those. So you can do a 2-team parlay, a 3-team, all the way up to probably a 10-team parlay. But in order to win that bet, let's say you do a 5-team parlay, you have to get all 5 teams right to win that bet. If you miss one single thing in that parlay, then you end up losing. So that's what a parlay is. You can do parlay with money lines, which means you're just picking teams to win that game. You can do parlays with over-unders, which means you're picking if the total score between the 2 teams combined is going to be over that projected score or under it. You can do parlays with the spread, meaning this is how much a team is supposed to win by or how much a team isn't supposed to win by. And then you can combine all three of those. You can do money line, you can do over-unders, and you can do the spreads. So you can basically parlay anything you want. The reason people do parlays is because you can bet a lower amount of money, but then the payout, depending on how many parlays you have or how many teams or items you have in your parlay, the payout can be pretty good. So a 2-team parlay is normally 3-1. A 3-team parlay is normally 6-1. A 4-team parlay is normally 10-1. And then a 5-team parlay is normally 20-1, just to give you guys a rundown. So Nolan, go ahead with your picks for this weekend for college football.
All right, the 3-teamer I got is I am going to take Oklahoma, 11 points over Nebraska. I'm going to take Oregon -3.5 over BYU, and I'm going to take Pitt -10 over Michigan. Western Michigan. And then my upset pick of the week is going to be Auburn over Penn State.
Okay. And any reasoning why you did those 3 teams in your 3-teamer and why you like Auburn as your upset pick?
I believe to go to the parlay. I like Oklahoma because Nebraska. They didn't just fire their coach. Usually a team that gets rid of their head coach usually does pretty good, but I don't think Nebraska's got it in them this week. I'm going to take Oregon over BYU because BYU this is kind of a grudge they got me this last week. So I'm really hoping Oregon will take them on that as kind of more of a what's the word I'm thinking?
Wishful?
Emotional
Emotional,
thing
yeah.
than anything. And then Pitt, I think Pitt is. I think they're pretty good this year. I really do. I just think that they're going to roll over Western Michigan. I don't think it'll be even close.
Do you have any news on Pittsburgh's quarterback? I know he left last week's game late in the 4th quarter and he didn't play in overtime. Do you know if he's Pittsburgh's quarterback is Kyle? Keldon Slovis. So do you know if he's playing or do you not know?
I believe he's back.
Okay.
It was undisclosed on what his first half injury was, but I think that he's back in. But that's what I believe.
And then your upset pick, you have Auburn over Penn State. Any specific reason for that one?
Just more of an emotional pick on that one also. I just got a feeling on that one.
Okay. Kyle, go ahead with your picks.
Yeah, my 3-team parlay, I got USC -12. I didn't write down who they were playing. That was on my bad.
Shoot, I should know off the top of my head. I don't remember.
Fresno State.
Oh, yeah,
Yep,
that's it.
Fresno
That's it. Good
State,
call.
yep. And then my second pick was Wake Forest -16.5
Against Liberty.
versus Liberty. I mean, their quarterback was back last week after his off-season blood clot and stuff, so they look good again. They score a lot of points. And then I got Kansas State -14 against Tulane. Tulane's a very capable opponent, but they kind of struggle against the rush defense, and Deuce Vaughn and Adrian Martinez kind of run the ball really well. They've been racking up a lot of yards in these first 2 weeks. So that was my 3-team parlay. And instead of just doing one upset special, I'm doing a 4-team underdog parlay with BYU, Miami, Purdue, and Michigan State all getting the W's. So I was going to $10 bet would win $310. So that's what I was looking for college football.
Alrighty, it's a ballsy money line parlay there.
YOLO.
So, YOLO. Yeah, you only live once. So my 3-team parlay, and it all depends on if you can get Georgia -24, that would be my first pick. last week I took South Carolina +8 against Arkansas, and I can see why Spencer Rattler lost his job at Oklahoma because he's not very good. South Carolina's defense is atrocious. They couldn't stop the run. They couldn't stop the pass. Georgia, whenever it's a meaningful game, I mean, last week they only put up 33 points, but they played a no-name team, so they probably weren't even trying. Whenever it's a meaningful game, they'll put it on you. So I think, at the most, South Carolina's going to score maybe 13 points. That means Georgia's got to put up 37. I think they'll easily do that. If you can't get Georgia at -24, I'm going to take Syracuse -1. I just think playing in that dome, the home field advantage. Syracuse is 2-0. They're feeling good. I know they're playing Purdue, which is a quality team also. My second pick is going to be the over in the Kansas and Houston game. Kansas put up like 50-some points at West Virginia last week. They're averaging 50-some points a game. Houston's been in 2 overtime games. Both have been, each team has scored in the 30s. So basically, if each team scores in the 30s, you got the over there. It's over 57. And then I'm taking Florida Atlantic +8. They're playing at home against UCF. I watched UCF play at home against Louisville last Friday. They got off to a hot start, and then they did not score in the second half. So I'm not sure what happened there. Florida Atlantic, they're playing pretty well. They're playing at home. It's going to be an in-state rivalry. I just think +8's looking good. At most, they'll lose by a touchdown. And then my upset pick is I'm taking Miami over Texas A&M. I just don't see A&M being able to score with Miami. Miami's got the quarterback Van Dyke. He's been playing really well. I think it comes back down to the Iowa State topic where Miami's just got too much speed for A&M. So yeah, that's our picks for this week for college football. Let's move it over to the NFL. We'll switch it up. Kyle, why don't you go first? Give us your picks for the NFL for week 2.
Yeah, for week 2, I got the Colts to win at Jacksonville, and then I got the Ravens, and they were playing at home against the Dolphins, and then Monday night I got the Vikings over the Eagles. Kind of taking off from last week, giving it to Tyler pretty hard about the Vikings going to lose to the Packers. So I was one of the games I was able to watch for NFL. I thought the Vikings looked really good with their new coach and kind of new schemes, and I think they should all be able to cover. And then
are you taking them to win or to cover?
To cover.
Okay, to cover. Okay, so that's their 3-team parlay to cover the spreads.
Yep, and then my upset pick was the Saints at home against the Bucks. Tom Brady hasn't beaten the Saints since he's been a Buccaneer. Saints defense is always flying around. They're at home. You kind of get that dome field advantage there. Jameis does Jameis things. Going to find the way to win. So, yeah, I got the Saints at home to beat the Tom Brady Buccaneers.
Alrighty, Nolan, what's your picks for the NFL for week 2?
I just got a 2-teamer for the NFL. I got Pitt money line. I think their defense is going to keep them in games this year. I think Mr. Trubisky is going to. I think he's going to come around. I'm a big fan of Mr. Trubisky, so I'm taking my Steelers for money line, and then I'm going to take Detroit money line. I think they lost a close one last week. I think that they're going to come around, and they're going to. And I also think Carson Wentz is going to have an off day. So I have those two, and then my underdog pick is going to be the Carolina Panthers over the Giants. So I think Baker's gonna come through. I'm not a huge Baker fan, but I think he's gonna come around here and have a great week. And Christian McCaffrey back. Obviously, last week he didn't do real good, but I think he'll have a good rainy day against the Giants defense.
See, that's what I love about betting. Everyone's got their own thoughts and opinions. because I'm like opposite with both of you guys. My 2-team parlay, I had the Giants -2. I just think it was a big comeback victory against the Titans, and Saquon Barkley looks like the Saquon Barkley that he was in college in his first year in the NFL. Matt Jones. Is it Matt Jones?
Daniel Jones.
Jesus. Daniel Jones for the Giants. He's nothing great. Probably because he went to Duke. He's not like Mitchell Trubisky, who's a Tar Heel, but he does okay. He does what he needs to do. So I think the Giants will win that one. They're playing at home, so that helps too. It's a home opener. And then I got Tampa Bay -2.5 at the Saints. I think Tom Brady's sick and tired of losing to the Saints. It's probably going to be his last year. Who knows? But I think he really wants to get this one. And that one's at New Orleans. So I think, he's had troubles with them. And I think he's had enough with the Saints defense. So I think that the Buccaneers will win that. And then my upset pick, I actually have the Dolphins over the Ravens. The Dolphins defense just looked really good. I think they'll be able to contain Lamar Jackson. They won't give up those long pass plays that the Jets did last week. So, those are our picks for betting wise. So that's you can take all those picks and take it to the bank there. So now what we're going to do is Nolan, Kyle, and I are going to pick each NFL game, and then we're going to keep a running total. Kyle, last week, you finished, I think, 8-7, and I finished 6-9 in our picks. So, first week, get the rust off. Now the season begins. So now I'm not going to do so much emotional picks this week. I'm going to use my brain and actually try to win this. And then the three of us are going to come up with something where the loser who has the worst record will have to do something stupid or something like that.
Put a vote out there to everybody.
Yeah, I can put a vote out there.
Get something figured out.
One thing I want to mention before we go over the NFL picks, last week, Kyle, your 3-team college parlay, you got 1 out of 3 teams right.
One.
You got the over on the Texas Tech and Houston game.
Thankful
right?
for overtime. The other Carolina game came up 1.5 short.
Okay, and then obviously Alabama sucked. I got 1 out of 3 right. Also, I got the Iowa State one right. But if you did listen to me, I did say Kentucky was going to beat Florida. So if you did the money line there, that would have been a pretty good payout. You probably would have won your money back from losing my parlay. So just telling you how we did last week with our college picks, not so good, but it's still early, and we're gonna get you guys back on the right track this week. Nolan knows what he's talking about, so maybe follow him on Twitter. Nolan, what's your Twitter handle?
Twitter handle @TheRealNoBug.
@TheRealNoBug. And Kyle, what's your Twitter handle?
It should be @Nordinsky.
All right, so if you want to follow those two guys, and they'll maybe I'll have them put their picks up on their Twitter so people can see them. But anyways, let's get to our picks for week 2 of the NFL. First game we have is New York Jets at the Cleveland Browns. And I'll just go Kyle first, Nolan second, then me third. So Kyle, go ahead.
I got Cleveland.
Okay, Nolan?
Cleveland.
And I'm going to go Cleveland. Okay, next game is Washington at Detroit.
I'll go Lions.
Lions.
And I'm going to go Lions also. Next game is Tampa Bay at the Saints.
So I got Saints.
I got Tampa Bay.
And I also have Tampa Bay. You have Carolina at New York.
New York.
I got New York also.
Wait a second. Didn't you take the Panthers as your upset pick, though?
It is, but I gotta go smart.
Oh, okay. Just double checking. I'm also gonna go New York too. You got New England at Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think that Pittsburgh D, so I'll go Pitt.
Yeah, Pittsburgh defense. Here we go.
I'm gonna go New England. I don't think Bill Belichick and Matt Jones. That's Matt Jones. I don't think Bill Belichick and Matt Jones loses 2 in a row. So I'm gonna go New England there. Next game you have the Colts at the Jaguars.
Colts.
Colts for me also.
Yeah, I think we were all on the Colts there, even though they struggled a little bit against Houston last week. You got Miami at Baltimore.
Baltimore at home.
I got the Dolphins.
I'm also going to go with Nolan with the Dolphins there. You have the Falcons at the Los Angeles Rams.
Rams.
I'm going Rams also.
I'm also going to go Rams. I don't know what it is about the Falcons, but they just can't finish out games. They have had multiple big-time leads going in the fourth quarter, and it just one of those teams that finds a way to lose. You have Seattle coming off a big win on Monday night against Kyle's Denver Broncos against San Francisco.
San Francisco get the win.
I'm going with Seattle on this one.
All right, I'm going to go with Kyle. I'm going to go with San Francisco. I think the weather had a lot to do with how bad San Francisco played last week against the Bears. Next game, I got a feeling we're all three going to be on the same side here, but never know. So we'll go Cincinnati at Dallas.
Yeah, Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
Yeah, we're all on Cincinnati. Joe Burrow's not going to have two bad games in a row. You have Houston Texans at the Broncos.
Let's ride. Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson.
I'll go Denver.
And I'm also going to go Denver. You have Arizona at Las Vegas Raiders.
Vegas at home.
Vegas.
And I'm also going to go with my Raiders. Derek Carr, he had a not so good first game, and I think Arizona's missing DeAndre Hopkins too much, so I don't think they can score as many points as the Raiders can for that Sunday. And then you have Chicago at Green Bay.
Yeah, I can't go against Rodgers at home in prime time, so yeah, back.
Yep, I gotta go Pack. He owns the Bears.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Packers too, and yeah, I'm saying the same thing with you, Nolan. You know what he said when he scored that touchdown. He owns the Bears. So, Nolan, who is your football team?
I'm a Steelers fan.
Oh, that's right. I should have been. If I was listening, I should have known that. So then you got two Monday night games, which is kind of weird because normally they do that in week one. But the first one is you got Tennessee at Buffalo.
Bills.
Bills Mafia.
Yeah, I think Josh Allen's right now MVP candidate for the league. And then the second Monday night game, you got Minnesota at Philadelphia.
I won't bet against them again, Tyler. We'll go Skull. Vikings.
I'm gonna go Vikings too. I am on the bandwagon for the Vikings this year.
Tyler told me something last year, or maybe a couple years ago, but he said that normally the Vikings play the way that the Cyclones play, so that's one reason why I took the Vikings this last week was because the Cyclones won. So I think Cyclones play Ohio at home this weekend, which means should be a blowout. So I'm going to go with the Vikings also. That'll be a fun game to watch, though. So I got everyone's picks. Kyle, was there any teams that impressed you or disappointed you in week one of the NFL schedule?
Yeah, week one, I think the Bills and Kansas City kind of putting it out there that they're still kind of the two teams to everybody experts picks, and they really put it on that first week. My disappointment has to be my Broncos. I mean, it was a big game, a big environment for Russell Wilson, and it seemed like he kind of it was a little maybe too much for him. He got a little emotional, and yeah, I looked at kind of the new coaches, in the leagues. I mean, there's 5 coaches that won, 3 that lost, and the Texans that tied. But I mean, just looking at that loss for the Broncos, it really showed the inexperience of maybe Coach Hackett and not understanding. I mean, I'm not afraid of McManus kicking over a 60-yarder, but when you got a minute left and Russell Wilson and some of the weapons that we had, it just seemed like we were kind of moving the ball, get in the middle of the field, and Cortland Sutton and our tight ends were making plays. So I think you just got to do a little rollout with Russell, and if he sees a lane to run it, but he's smart enough to get that 5 yards and keep that drive going and getting a more reasonable 40 to 50-yard field goal in that situation. So that was definitely the most disappointing part of that, waiting all weekend for the Broncos to play and to lose in that type of that game with a down Seattle team that lost their best player on defense in the first half, and they just couldn't get it done.
Yeah, I think my disappointing team, which shouldn't be a surprise, is Dallas. I don't know why everyone talks about Dallas at the start of every season, but Dallas is horrible. Dak Prescott, I don't think he's the quarterback that they think he is. So they were pretty disappointing, and I'm gonna go with my Raiders too. I was pretty disappointed. You know, Josh McDaniels, he's supposed to be this offensive guru, and we put up 19 points. I mean, I know we played the Chargers defense, which they're holding the Chiefs. Or I guess the Chiefs just scored a touchdown to go up 6. But yeah, I was disappointed in the Raiders. Disappointed in Derek Carr. He had a lot of stupid throws, a couple interceptions. The teams that impressed me kind of, you know, it kind of got them a little while to get going. But the Saints looked good, really good in the fourth quarter. So, I mean, if they can carry that over. And then the Vikings. I thought the Vikings looked really good defensively and offensively against the Packers. Granted, the Packers were missing a couple receivers, but still, you know, you're in the NFL for a reason. It shouldn't be that big of a drop-off unless you're a big-time receiver like Devontae Adams or, you know, Justin Jefferson. So, I mean, other than that, it should be the same. So I thought the Vikings looked really good. Nolan, you got anything to add?
I guess I want to jump on the Cowboys, the Cowboy bandwagon on how they did not surprise me. Or they didn't surprise me not being good. Their offense and defense both just wasn't doing it. The Steelers defense really did surprise me a little bit. But 4 interceptions, a blocked field goal at the end of the game, a strip sack on Burrow, Mika Fitzpatrick having a pick 6 there in the game. That's the only reason. The offense didn't do much for him. I think Mr. Trubisky, he's going to kind of get her taken under control here, and he's going to bounce back and do a little bit better. And it also kind of same breath, the run game just wasn't there the entire day. So that kind of disappointed me a little bit too. But another surprise was going back to those Giants, that Saquon Barkley having 194 yards. That, I mean, if he stays healthy, I mean, that's the one question I have is if he'll stay healthy. But if he can, he could be good. He's shown he's good in the past. So if he stays healthy, he'd be fun to watch.
Alrighty, good points there on the Giants. I kind of forgot about them and Saquon Barkley. Before we end the show, me and Kyle didn't do this last week, so we're going to do it this week. And since you're on here, hopefully you got your teams. But we're going to go through our Super Bowl picks. And I'll go first this time, and then Nolan, you want to go second, and then Kyle, you can end it. So my Super Bowl picks this year is I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus I think the Cincinnati Bengals will make it back to the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow's just got that it factor, that confidence in him. I think Tom Brady's last year, he came back for one reason only, and that's to win the Super Bowl. Pretty disappointing on how the season ended last year. And I did a future bet on this, so that's the reason why I'm picking them too. And it's Tom Brady. You can never bet against Tom Brady. And I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning the Super Bowl this year. So, Nolan, go ahead with your picks.
I have the Chargers. Actually, I have the Chargers winning Super Bowl this year. I think that it's AFC. The AFC is going to win it this year. So that's my Chargers are going to be in it, and I think that they're going to be in against the Minnesota Vikings this year. That's my prediction.
Alrighty.
And for me, I had the Bills versus the Packers, but since we didn't really officially do anything last week, I changed it to the Vikings. I thought defensively they're both kind of the same, but kind of some of the moves that the Vikings did really, showed a lot in that week 1. I think maybe the new coach did a lot for Kirk Cousins and kind of free up some of those weapons that they got. But I got Buffalo winning the Super Bowl. I think it's whoever comes out of the AFC, just kind of looking at the way that kind of teams look week 1 and how they're predicted. I think the AFC is definitely a tougher division. and stuff. But I think the Bills and Josh Allen make that step, and MVP and Super Bowl title for the Bills.
All right, so that's our picks, and we'll see how everyone does when the season ends. And Nolan, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. And you'll come on next Thursday again, correct?
Yeah, I'll be here. I appreciate you guys having me on here. I
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah, you bet. It was a good time. This is, you don't know this, but I'm actually recording this on my iPad, so this is going to go on my YouTube channel. So everyone out there, go ahead and follow Nolan. He gave his Twitter account. Follow Kyle. He gave his Twitter account. My Twitter account is at BachelorForeLife. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter. I have a Facebook page, and then I also have a YouTube channel called Bachelor for Life. Should be pretty easy to find me. Share, like, comment, give suggestions. If you want to come on the podcast, let me know. Tell a friend about this. Just try to get the word out. We try our best to try to act like we know what we're talking about. Other than that, good luck to everyone's picks this week on your picks, and I think that'll wrap it up. Nolan, you got anything else to say before you take off?
Go Pittsburgh.
Go Pittsburgh. All right. Thanks for joining us, bud. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, buddy.
Yes. Thanks, guys. Bye.
All right, Kyle. I think that wraps up this week. It's bedtime for both of us, so let's call it a night, huh?
Alrighty, thanks again, guys.
All right. Thanks for listening. I really appreciate it, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks. All righty. Pretty good. What happened? 99-yard interception return?
That's what it said.
That's crazy.
Mainly because I took the Chargers to